Hey, there we go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it might be where you are. Welcome back to the live stream. My name is Jeff Fritz. How's it going out there, chat room?
Greetings, my excellent friend.
Indeed. Today is October 16th, 2019. We're going to write a little bit of code today. And I say we, and I'm hinting a little bit with the hat. I'm going to try a little bit of an experiment today. I want to invite some of you to write some code along with me. And yeah, we're going to write a little bit of code. We're going to deploy to with Docker today. We're going to have a good time. How's it going, chat room? Copper Beardy's here. Hugo, hello, hello. Jobbin PA, good morning. Wolfhound Jesse, hello, hello. DD Walsh, good morning. There's a snow forecast for the Cascades. Look out, somebody's going to be going skiing right there. Fanny Reinders, hello, hello. Hugo, Pavi Games, hello. Working home with your 6-year-old son. Fantastic, he's happy because he'll get to see the guy with the hat who works with Daddy. Well, yeah, we've got the hat going today, and we'll do we're going to try a little experiment here. I think we're going to open up live share and see what chaos we can create. Yeah, that'll be a thing. We'll see how that goes. So, when last we spoke, I was having a bit of a problem with Azure, and it turns out, once again, related to something that Microsoft Corporate IT forced in a configuration on the machine that I'm using, because I'm using a Microsoft corporate registered machine here. So there's some policies and things that I can't get around, that I've got to just deal with, and I need to address and work around. And in order to make things demoable, I should be behaving in a certain way, and quite frankly, I'm not. So I need to address that, and we should be in a much better place then to move forward with deploying and working with Azure here, which feels kind of weird that their own configuration makes it harder to work with their own product. I don't make the decisions. I just try to share and show what's going on. Live share hat, yes. Oh, we didn't reach that deep. And there are a ton of hats, let me tell you. It just didn't feel right doing like a Doctor Strange hat, or a Thor hat, the Avengers hat. We'll bounce around. We'll get to these. But yes, the bag of hats is very, very deep. There we go. Firefox, for some reason, suddenly grabbed like 5 gig of memory. I'm like, what are you doing? Now I can't monitor anything and work here on my machine and be able to show all the viewers here what's going on. You know what I mean? So gotta restart everything. Memory management, it's not easy. You restart the app and hopefully it behaves better. And it's not. I've only got 3 tabs open and we're already at 1.5 gigs of memory. Are you kidding? Seriously? What are you doing over there, Firefox? You make me sad. All right. How's it going, Lennon? You're going to be lurking today? Well, maybe we can talk you out of that. Let's see. So, when last we spoke, a couple things were going on. A couple things happened around Azure. And I want to show you. Let me go into my history here, and I'll bring up what we were looking at, and then we'll get some music playing in the background. And hopefully we'll have a good time here today. History, there we go. I want this one. And because I want to talk about, there was an announcement yesterday. And it's important that we understand what this announcement means. And we handle it appropriately because, wow, there's a lot going on here that is important to understand. There's the second, and my third tab that I wanted to open was, I don't see it. I know it's here. Why is it that searching through history is easier than actually bookmarking things? You know what I'm saying? No, I don't see it here. Let me see. There's even a search doodad. There it is. That's the one I want. All right. That's better. Wait, where did... No, the first one didn't show up here. There it goes. All right. Netscape wouldn't have this problem. Netscape wouldn't run in more than a couple hundred megs. Tops. Tops. Don't use Firefox now. Firefox is really good. It's right, non-Chromium based. Gets me out of any of the management things around the Chromium browser and browser engine. And I like having something that's a little bit more independent and isn't being coupled to one company or another that I'm using for my web browsing. So it feels right for me.
Let me add some value.
Hey, Svava.
What mischief?
Oh, let me tell you the mischief we're going to get into today, and I'm hinting at it with the hat. I think I'm going to let everybody edit code at the same time in our application. Links is a little bit too far back. Netscape would limit you to a single tab. Netscape, you only had one tab. There was no such thing as tabs way back in the day. Right. So, let me get some music playing here in the background. This is called Orchid from Music to Code By. This is music that's groovy. It's supposed to get you in the flow so that whatever task it is that you're working on, you can focus on and get stuff done. Be more productive. You'll get in that state of flow, and all your other worries will kind of fade away. Check it out at mtcb.pwop.com, or you can execute the music command in the channel and get more information about it. Thank you so much to Mr. Carl Franklin for letting us listen to his music here live on the channel while we write some code together. We are moving towards this 10,000 follower goal. We've already crossed 8,000. I'm dyeing my beard rainbow at Dev Intersection. Thank you for the follow, Zillum. I appreciate you joining us. And I look forward to seeing you in the chat room. So I will be dyeing my beard rainbow for Dev Intersection. We hit that goal quick. Every 100 followers here, every time that ends with a 00, we're going to give away a sticker pack here live on stream. I've got a bunch that I have to send out. I need to get over to the post office and drop them off because I'm sending a couple internationally. So that's going on. Oh yeah, sticker packs, absolutely. What else? Thank you for the follow, Cronrat. Appreciate you joining us. So I do make it a point to keep the and this is actually about 10 higher than the count on Twitch, because of the way Stream Elements keeps track of those numbers. I do make it a point that I want to make sure that our chat room is open for anybody to be able to participate. You don't have to follow. You don't even have to be signed into Twitch to watch. I don't care who you are. If you want to watch, you want to learn something that's terrific.
Let me add some value.
Fanny Reinders. Sending a bunch of unicorns across the way. Thank you so much for those 50 bits, and we'll make a donation to St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. Okay. Let's see here. I'm going to try and reset this number real quick. So I want to make sure that we're very inclusive, that anybody who wants to learn, anybody who wants to tune in, you can. No problem. We're not going to do subscriber-only streams. We're going to make sure that everybody has a chance to watch, and you don't have to pay anything to participate. You can learn, follow along at any time. There we go. Just reset the number. Good. So, hey Stelzy, good to see you. So, right, this is very much a thing I want to make sure everybody can participate, and we're going to do that with a little bit of live share, live coding later today. Brave Cobra says, would I consider a reverse rainbow beard in a different direction? Would that be more daring? Let me tell you how daring it's going to be that I'm going to have a rainbow beard and I might be sitting next to Scott Guthrie interviewing him at Dev Intersection. How do you like them apples? Huh? Oh dear Lord. Is this a Microsoft paid stream? No. I've already done the rainbow beard once. And it went over very well, I think. We will do it again. Now I've done it, yes. We will do live share a little bit later. So I want to talk about these two announcements that came out yesterday that are kind of important to us, that I want to make sure that you're aware of, and that we take a look at here. So the first that happened yesterday, right here, .NET Core 3.1 Preview 1 came out yesterday. This is big. Why is this big? Because, no, go away. This is big because .NET Core 3.1 is the long-term support version of .NET Core. We've been developing with C# and with .NET Core on Linux here all month long. But when you're developing with the different major releases, right? We saw this with 2.2. We see this with 3.0. It's a current release. Node.js has a very similar support strategy. Thank you for the follow, R. Combs Dev. Appreciate you joining us. These are versions that are being set up, that are being hardened with new features in preparation for what they call the long-term servicing release, or the LTS. The LTS has fewer new features, but has more bug fixes and performance tuning. And that's what we're seeing with this. So they're expecting a final ship date of December 2019 for this. And the first preview was released. Now, this is a preview release. You're not required to go and do this. This is an opt-in. If you like to try new things, you're more than welcome to go install it. There are a couple things around how it installs. There is a couple of new components around C++ for the CLI, but it's primarily bug fixes and optimizations that you're going to see. You're not going to see major new features in this release, particularly .NET Core. ASP.NET Core had a similar release, and some of these are structural changes that make new features available. Oh my gosh, Fanny Reinders!
Just gifted 5 subs.
Thank you so much for those 5 gift subs. We're going to make donations to... Look at the emotes. We're going to make donations to St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital for those 5. And congratulations to Tenno Diablo, Karsten Pet, Fossils, MJT Al, and Valerianch. You just got a gift subscription from our friend Fanny Reinders. And you're going to get to use 17 emotes everywhere on Twitch that are all tech themed and different things that we do here live on stream. You can throw emotes now at the screen here in this channel, and we're going to make those donations to St. Jude. Oh, and it'll remove ads on the channel as well. Thank you so much indeed, Fanny. Thank you for adding some value here. Absolutely. 3.1 preview was a quick follow-up to the 3.0. This was scheduled. This was intended so that there could be a little bit of a hardening period and release and set up that long-term servicing release. Johnny Moonlight, thank you for the follow. Appreciate you joining us and helping us out with our follower goals here. I really appreciate that and look forward to seeing you in the chat room there, Johnny. So a couple of these newer features are new ways to interact with the same things you were doing. Partial class support for Razor components. We've been building Blazor features here and building a view model that lives behind and moving all of our code there. Well, now we're going to be able to set up a partial class very similar to how web forms worked way back in the day and get similar functionality. Pass parameters to top level components, support for shared queries in the HTTP sys server. That's a smaller, faster server that isn't production grade, but you can certainly use it to test some things. And breaking changes for same site cookies, and that's something, I forget exactly what the story was there. Breaking changes. The release updates the behavior of some same site cookies to conform to the latest standards being enforced by browsers. So this is something that browsers are doing, you need to know and be aware of. Okay? Not bad. I'm okay with seeing those types of breaking changes. The community is moving in this direction. We need to keep up. You know what? That's pretty good. I can live with that type of change. So now, this means don't just get latest version of ASP.NET Core and .NET Core as you're working. You want to stay pinned to that 3.0 version if you want to stay on the current supported version of .NET Core and ASP.NET Core. Now, we've already done that through the use of a global JSON, and because we put that .NET SDK 3.0, the 3.0 version number into our code. So we won't get these new versions automatically pushed down to us. If you are just going after that most aggressive, latest version of things, you will get these new versions. And that might be okay for you. If you're building something for a longer stretch, you've got a 6 to 9 month development cycle you're going to be going through, you probably do want to pull down the latest versions of things so that as you're developing, you're getting the latest versions so that when you are ready to release 9 months down the road, you're already working with that latest version and you're not pinned to ASP.NET Core 2.2 or 3.0. You've already got 3.1 installed and you've been working with it for some time. And you've already adjusted and made those changes to move forward. Okay? So, good things, very good things to see coming, to see happening, and I want to make sure that you're aware that they're available to you out there. A couple other things. Later today at 1 o'clock Eastern, I want to make sure that you know our friends Glenn Condren and Shane Boyer are going to be hosting live here on Twitch on the Visual Studio channel, and it'll be syndicated back over onto this channel, hosted on this channel. They'll be hosting their first cloud native show live. They're going to be live coding and talking through how they built some APIs for .NET Conf live from Channel 9 Studios. So I hope you tune in for that a little bit later today. Like I said, if you follow the Visual Studio channel, you'll notice when that starts, but it will also be hosted here. You won't get a notice that it's started here, but if you follow on the Visual Studio channel, you'll get that go live notification. All right. Wetting my whistle here. So, Snoopaloopy watched the ASP.NET Community stand-up stream yesterday. You have a question related to this project you've been working on. Fire away, Snoopaloopy. What do you got? Let's see if we can answer something for you. So the Azure folks are now answering for their mistakes. So there's a couple things that are going on that I want to explain and explain why I was frustrated and some of the issues that I ran into. We will do the thing, absolutely. I am still in Windows, and that's okay. We're not going to be doing anything Linux specific yet. We're actually setting up things on the web and with Docker so that we can deploy and use more Linux things out in Azure. Snoopaloopy says, did I consider using Microsoft Orleans instead of Akka? No. If so, why did I choose Akka? Akka was what was suggested by folks in the chat room. We were working through when we initially set up this project, and we were setting up threading and thread pools and object pools and orchestrators to manage those threads and processes. And the suggestion from chat room, and it might have been Stelzy, said, hey, why don't you try using the actor model like Akka.net? Oh, that's a neat idea. Well, you know what? I haven't tried that. Let's take a look and see what that's about. Maybe that's something we want to do. And the rest is history. So, and that was a lot of fun. I think we've learned a lot along the way. It just wasn't a priority to take a look at Microsoft Orleans. RJFO306 is here.
Greetings, my excellent friend.
So good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. That's Papa C# Fritz right there. Hello, hello. So, this is Azure DevOps. This is building and managing our project for us, and everything's running properly at this point. So what we've done, what we've stepped into, and this last check-in that you see here is that we stepped into several things yesterday. Let me recap. I see a couple messages going by here on the chat. Recap that in a second. Erickson of James says, I'm new, watched some of the architecture videos. Is CoreWiki dead, or do you still work on it? Was interested in the thoughts of Jimmy Bogard and putting them to work. CoreWiki is, I think I've taken it down at this point because it was getting abused out on Azure. We just haven't worked on it in a while. We've taken Jimmy Bogard's architecture, his I forget the tools that he was showing us. We integrated them with CoreWiki, and it became extremely complicated very, very quickly. Things that were simple save pages were, instead of just save data, it was create 5-6 classes, create services to manage and respond to those classes. We overcomplicated the architecture very, very quickly, and it made it very hard to continue teaching with. If it grew in a direction that needed that level of complexity, I could justify that. But for teaching beginner to intermediate topics, it went in a direction where you had to know the architecture extremely well in order to grow and learn anything. So it's not dead, but it's now a much more advanced project than what was initially intended. So, and it grew organically in that direction, and that's okay. For what we were trying to accomplish on stream, it diverged from my teaching goals. So, and it's not a problem, Brave Cobra. It was, and I don't blame anyone. It's something that I think I think what you've seen, we've taken some slightly more advanced architecture for this project, but we've been able to keep it in a box, keep it as simple as possible so that we can touch on those more advanced architecture topics, but still show some of the simpler things and have things a little bit isolated so that we can do simple Blazor components, do simple HTML, simple CSS. We did simple CSS animations on for a good bit of yesterday, just tinkering with how things move across the screen. We were able to do that without getting wrapped up and buried in all kinds of ugly architecture concerns. And that, I think, shows a better separation of concerns than where we were with CoreWiki. So, TBD Gamer, good to see you. There's Shane Blair. I just mentioned the Cloud Native show coming up in just about 3 hours, 2.5 hours from now. Make sure you stick around. I'm not going to be able to raid right into it today. I have a meeting before it. But I wanted to raid right into that show. But not this time. So, all right. So here's everything that's building. So there were 3 issues that I ran into yesterday with how Azure was configured on my machine and how my accounts were configured. The first is, and you can already see it here, I'm actually signed in with 3 different accounts. For the purposes of all of our stuff that we do here on stream, I actually am signed in with this account. Yes, don't save that. And I'm over here. So here's the project, and anybody can navigate here and see the project. I purposely separated this, created its own Microsoft account so that you can log in here and look at this. Thank you for the follow, Daxton47. I appreciate you joining us. So this is a public URL that you can connect to, and you can poke around, see how things are configured here. You can't change anything. You can watch things get built, you can take a look around. But I have this separated from my Azure account. Because it's separate from my Azure account, I had to build in, I had to set up the resource so that it would appropriately connect to and deploy to Azure. And that's not trivial. If you're not using the same account between the 2 services, you need to use 2 different browsers, and you need to navigate back and forth between them. Yeah, words are hard. You need to navigate back and forth between them to get values out of Azure, and you need to set up stuff with Active Directory and permissions, and there isn't a good blog post or piece of documentation about how to do that. And I started writing one yesterday. I'm going to finish it probably tomorrow or Friday because I'm a little wrapped up with things. But that was not a simple process. There is no just button you can click because it all tries to use the same Azure ID, and I'm not set up that way. So, needed to make that configuration jump to make that happen. Security is very hard.
GG Feds just resubscribed for 8 months.
GG Feds, thanks so much for that resub. 8 months. That keeps you in a blue hat, but you're almost ready for a green loyalty hat. Thank you so much for that. How many hats? Yes, developers. Is this on GitHub as well? Yes, this is on GitHub. I have several GitHubs. Oh dear Lord, yes. Yeah, check out C# Fritz Pixelbot is where you'll see this. Right, GitHub C# Fritz, and it's actually under Quiltony Pixelbot. We're slowly renaming this to Fritzbot is what it'll be. There it is. So there's the project. Let's actually set a project definition here. Packaging the Fritzbot in Docker and deploying. Source at. There you go. So you can see all the source code for this here. I've already set things so that dev is our primary branch here, and master is where we push to when we want to deploy. And I've got a build pipeline, an Azure DevOps build pipeline. This is free for anybody to use to set up their own pipelines if you want to build your open source projects. This is an open source project, so I can use one of my 10 build definitions to let this build. And every time there's a pull request, every time there's a change, get it ready for deployment. So, Certainly Dev asks, why did it get the name Pixelbot? I take this as not related to the Pixelbot that Laboratory 424 has. It is not. This was originally named for our friend Quiltoni, and I need to put that picture on here, where she didn't even know she needed, but I suggested to her a simple chatbot that would award the faux currency that she has in Stream called pixels. So how do we award those pixels automatically when things like follows, subs, and raids occur? So we put together this little bot that would respond to those events and issue the currency, issue those pixels to viewers. But it slowly grew as other folks wanted similar functionality, and we added things to it. Now, well, how do we make that available so that it's not just a little exe that I throw down on someone's machine? I want to put it out as a service so that anybody can use. And we started adding more features to it, including this follower train that we've been building over the last 3 weeks. So that's where we are. We are legion, we are many. Oh yes. All right. So, and we're slowly renaming this back to Fritzbot. So it'll run and live on Azure inside of a service called Fritzbot. I'm going to turn on my Azure mask here because I want to make sure that I don't inadvertently dox myself. So I added Docker support to this, and I'll tell you why. The first problem that I had yesterday, there was a configuration issue on this machine because, like I said, because it's a Microsoft corporate machine. They forced me to log into a pre-release version of the portal that wasn't all the way configured properly, so things go wrong, things break. It's a pre-release version. However, I do have links so that I can get to the proper production version of the portal. Fantastic. The one that everybody normally uses. Great. So that was my first problem. The second problem that I had was, while ASP.NET Core 3 was released, it's only available for Windows images, Windows App Server services right now. And I want to run this on Linux. They haven't released the Linux images for app service yet. However, we can build our own Docker image and deploy to app service, which, when you think about it, is a little bit cleaner way to do things, because then I've got full control over what's inside that container, how it behaves, and I can start to think about Kubernetes and clustering. You haven't seen the train? Yeah, take a look at yesterday's stream and you'll see the train. We'll actually try to launch it here in just a little bit as we get things configured and deployed. So I put together a patch based on the Docker settings that are automatically given to you by Visual Studio 2019 that added a Docker container. Now, my build process is still going through doing restore, build, test, publish for the project. I need to change this because instead of doing all this nonsense, I want it to build my container. So that's the first thing that we're going to do here is we're going to build that container so that it's available, right? We're going to need to publish it somewhere so we can install it and continue from there. My Docker container definition, my Docker file, is here in the Orchestrator project. This is the main website that kicks off and manages the entire shooting match. Eventually, we're going to break this out so that it's one of several projects that runs the application. But here's the Docker file that was created. It looks complicated, but it's actually easier than initially at first glance. We're using from the Microsoft Container Registry, mcr.microsoft.com. We're using the ASP.NET 3.0 Buster Slim. So this is a slim ASP.NET Core specific image. We're going to expose port 80, and we're going to work in a folder called app. We're going to create a second one here that we're going to build from that has all the SDK stuff in it. It's not the Slim. The Slim is just the runtime. So we're going to bring in all the SDK stuff on this image so we can build with. Copy over all of my CS proj files that are necessary to run this. And these copy statements were generated because of the references inside my solution. And it runs .NET Restore against the project, which trickles down the entire hierarchy and ends up running restore on everything, bringing in other projects, packages that we might not necessarily have. Copy all the content in there, right? Copy dot says copy everything in this folder into the same target folder, the source folder inside the container. Run .NET build against that top level project, the orchestrator project, which references and has everything else in it. Put it into release configuration and output to the app build folder. And then we're going to run publish and publish it over to our, right? Yeah, we're going to publish into a publish folder here. Finally, we're going to copy from that publish folder, app publish container, into the that base container that has just the runtime. So we end up with a very slim container that has just what we need to run the application. So that's what I built overnight, a little bit this morning, to make sure that this works. Yes, Valerian, you were given a sub while you were out. Congratulations. Also, testing this project when you want to add stuff is very, very hard to almost not doable. Testing this project when you want to add stuff. Yeah, okay, a little bit. So what I'm looking at here is for the build steps, right? So if we look at, right, so we have this pipeline, and I'm going to come to that question from Surly Dev in just a second. I can get rid of this bit here. Remove that. And I am purposely, I don't want to look at the YAML. I don't want to think about the YAML. I'd rather use the configuration user interface here because it's much, much clearer as I explain and show things to you here on stream. We're building, we're testing, and then publishing. If with the Docker container, we are building and publishing all in one shot as a single unit. I think that should be a second step after test as a second agent here, and we don't publish from here because I don't want to publish just the raw DLLs and things here. I want to publish my container image. So I think I want to set up a second agent to run that will do that Docker publish. Yes, and that's right, Shane. You can run your own registry. There's a bunch of different places you can run your own registry, including on GitHub. And Azure has space. Azure, it costs money to set that up, but you can run it on GitHub for free. Where is it? There's a place you can run your own. I was looking at this for the live coders earlier. Actions projects. Where is it? Where is it? Is it up here? Packages. There we go. So, yes, sign up for the beta. Yes. No. Register. Give it to me. You now have access to it. Thank you. There it is. So you can actually package and deliver right here. Well, that's pretty cool. So what I'm thinking is to keep everything in one place, package and deliver the container here. So we have release versions of our containers when they're ready to deploy. And I guess that's a conditional thing that we want to have only run for this agent. And then be able to push that into our Azure app service. Wow, a bunch of questions and comments came through. Let me see what's happening here. Docker images don't necessarily have to be distributed through a hub, but by doing that, it means that all these other services have access to that same location to get that authoritative version of the image to deploy. But you can run, as Shane's mentioning there, you can run your own registries. You can even host it on GitHub. Azure App Service built-in images lower the bar for everyone to learn how to flex their DevOps muscles. That's right, Space Shot. You're very on point there. Don't be afraid to take full control long-term, though. Yeah, when you need to get more advanced, sure. You hear me about the YAML, especially when searching for tasks and using them for the first time. It can be overwhelming. Not just that, but the structure and syntax of the YAML is... It's difficult for new folks to follow. And to be perfectly frank, this is really easy for anybody to pick up and use. There's some things that can be done to make it even more user-friendly, because some of the terms and things that are used here, if you're not familiar with the lingo, the jargon, it's a little bit tricky to follow along with. It can be a little bit tricky. Can the UI parse changes that you make to the generated YAML, or is it one way? It was one way. It might be two-way now. I have no reason to go into the YAML because the UI is good enough for me. So the president, not sure. I'm not even going to attempt it because I don't need it. My understanding of Docker containers is that I can develop an app such as .NET Core with ASP.NET against a certain version of .NET Core and pass that container over to another machine to run it, so that all the things, libraries, DLLs come over with the container. Is that accurate? Yes, Surly Dev. Think of a container as that MSI, as that zip file that contains everything to run your application. Not just everything to run your application, though, but also the configuration to run your application. So there's a little bit more in there than... Yeah, and then when it gets to the other location, it runs in its own dedicated memory space, right, on that other machine. Runs in its own dedicated memory space with exactly the configuration that you packaged it with. So that's really nice to have, Surly Dev. Space Shot says, I think there's YAML options not in the GUI, such as multi-stage pipelines, but I have stayed in the GUI for learning purposes. I agree. It's so good to see you, Chris. Space Shot, thank you so much for tuning in. Is there a good way to set up symbol publishing? Am I publishing my symbols with your release version? No, I'm not publishing the symbols. This isn't... Let's talk about what symbols are for a second before I answer the question. Symbols are those PDBs that you see on disk when you build in development mode. Those are the pointers for you as somebody who wants to debug and work through things to be able to get information about what it is you're debugging against. For something that you're publishing that's an executable application somewhere like this, I don't need the symbols. I'm not going to be debugging into it. It's out there, it's running. I'm going to be pulling logs out of it at the most. For something like a NuGet package, where folks are going to be referencing that and using hopefully some debugger symbols so that it can debug through, figure out how their application is interacting with your library, your package you may share out there. Yeah, you should you can publish symbols for that. That's when I would do it. I'm not publishing with that, and I don't have too much experience doing that. Acrophobic Pixie. You have coffee, a headache, and a stupid problem on Code Easy that won't solve. Hit me with that smooth coding vibe. It's so good to see you, Acrophobic Pixie. Thanks so much for tuning in. It's great to see you. And I just got the agenda for our friend Fierce Kitten's beginners coding stream on Friday night. I'm going to read it when we're done stream here. I'm really excited for that. I'm so happy that we had 150 folks pick up Visual Studio for the first time. Folks that weren't writing code, that weren't familiar with software development, picked up Visual Studio, tried .NET, tried C#, wrote their first lines, took their first steps on their technical development journey, and got involved and had a good time that night. There was a lot. We had fun. We told jokes during the stream. It was great to see that kind of interest in software, and I'm very happy to support Fierce Kittens in this series that she's doing here, and I wish her continued success. Thank you. Thank you, Hugo, for that shout out. Yes, make sure you check out Fierce Kittens Friday night. She's doing very, very beginner streams for folks that are brand new to software. She has instructions for you to install Visual Studio. It's free. And get started and be successful. It's a lot of fun. And folks like Acrophobic Pixie were there, and we had a great time. Yes, MyGet. Absolutely, there's things you can do there. Is Docker like a lightweight virtual machine? Yeah, that's a good comparison. It's not exactly the same, but at a top level, it's like a lightweight virtual machine. It isn't, but it's similar. But now they've experienced their first Visual Studio update. Actually, no, we didn't tell them to install the preview. They're okay. Yes, Fierce Kittens is a Live Coders team member. Absolutely. Absolutely, she is. Spicy Condiment, good to see you. All right, let me get back in here. And because I want to talk about getting this building and deploying properly. So, if I want this to build the container, I probably want to have it only build for when we push to a master release, to the master branch. In which case, I think I actually want that as a separate build pipeline to build the container, so that it's building that production version, that clean version in release mode, so that it doesn't have any debugging things, we're not running any of our tests, build it for the container so we can publish. So actually, I think I want to do a completely new pipeline. So let me go back to the build pipelines, right? And a build pipeline is quite simply just a series of instructions that says, here's how to compile my code when it changes. Where is my code? It's on... I want to use the classic editor. Don't trick me there. Don't trick me. Select a source. GitHub, please. Repository. And we are looking for Pixelbot. There it is. Default branch for manual. So this, I'm going to change to master. So that it only builds the container. Right, when I'm ready, when I'm going into my master branch, that's right. That's going to be my clean branch that nobody develops against, and we're going to publish against. All right, so select a template. Well, it is ASP.NET Core, but it's a Docker container. So is there a no? There is no Docker container one here because I really just wow. No wait, it's right there. All right, I'll click apply. All right, build an image, push an image. Fantastic. So we're going to get sources. We're going to build, yes, build whatever. Container registry type. What options do I have here? I want to try and push this to GitHub. Let's see if we can set that up easily. I'm going to change that to container registry. Docker registry service connection. What's this? Select a registry service connection required for commands that need to authenticate with a registry. I do need to authenticate over here. Let me click learn more so I can, there we go. How do I authenticate to the GitHub package registry? So I need to pass a token, create a personal access token for the command line. We're gonna need to do that. And there we go. I'm gonna need a new service connection. Right, for GitHub. Personal access token. Wait a sec. Is that what this one has? Connected to service using OAuth. I should be okay with that. Right? Proof that I need a screen reader. No, I don't need a screen reader. Yeah, the GUI practically begs you to use the YAML editor. And I think, my opinion, I think that's very unfriendly to new folks. Folks that are new to using the service, it's kind of unfriendly. That oh, by the way, if you're a beginner, it's way down here at the bottom in this really small text. I will need a okay, so it's a, all right, so is it Docker registry? And then I specify, yeah, others, okay. Connection name, let's call this GitHub container, yeah, because this is my GitHub. Let's call this C# Fritz. GitHub container registry. Docker registry, no, that's not it. It is Docker package github.com. right? My Docker ID, that's going to be C# Fritz. Thank you for the follow, Ronnie76. Appreciate you joining us. Email, well, that's my email. Okay, so the password is going to be personal access token, blah, blah, blah. When you're, yes, I am using two-factor authentication. Verify my email address. I've already done that. Click developer settings, click personal access tokens, and click generate new token. Wouldn't it be great if these were like a link right to that page? Right? And I'm going to need to give it... There's got to be something there for the registry. Your personal access token must have the repo scope when the repository is private. Well, it's not. It's public. I'm still going to grant it everything. So I'm going to need to navigate away here because I'm doing password-y things while I generate this. Pardon me for a moment there. While I go generate a access token here. Excuse me. Let's see. It was... Right? Settings, developer settings, personal access tokens. There we go. Personal access tokens. And generate new token. Make sure it has my password. There we go. And we're going to call this DevOps Registry Access. I'm going to give it full access to the repo. I'm going to give it access to write packages, read packages. I can show you this bit. So, new personal access token, and I'm giving it repository access. I'm giving it package write access, package read access. I'm not going to give it delete. Public admin to the organization. No. Full control of repository hooks. No. Don't need that. So, and now I'm going to go through and generate the token. So, pardon me for a minute while I get that token. I'm copying it back over here. I'm pasting it into that password screen. Let me close the GitHub screen so I don't inadvertently show it. So there it is. I copied it in there, and I'll say OK to that. Really? Do I do that? Hang on. Let me go back a tab. Nope, that's not it. Login to docker package github.com. Right? /owner /repository /image name. I guess that's right. Right? What if we embed a key into an actual key and used it for authentication? USB keys that had to be plugged in for their service to run properly. Yeah. In a key-shaped USB drive. That's a good idea. Yeah, that's a very good idea, Valder Gaga, right? And you see that with products like YubiKey that will do that. Yeah, there you go, Spicy Condiment. Yep. Angry Little Hamster, good to see you. Things are going better today, yes. I think that's the URL that I want. What happens when I say, is that? Good, okay, that looks like it went through. So now, update password? No, not right now. So now I should be able to go back here and container registries type. I'm going to refresh this, pull this down, there we go, to the C# Fritz GitHub container registry. Yes, we're going to build an image. The Docker file is... It's down here. No, not down there. Up here. Why don't you see? Oh, I'm in the master branch. It's not there yet. Crispy. Let's select that. /Docker file. Okay, build arguments. I don't think I have any build arguments. image name. We're going to call this Fritzbot, because that's its new name. And yeah, we'll stick the build ID on the end of it. Qualify image name. Sure. Additional image tags. Include latest tag. Source tag? I don't think so. I'm not sure what source tag does. Noise. Yes. Yes, Robert Tables did do a stream about Docker volumes yesterday. Alright. I think that's everything. So the push... Wait a sec. Yeah, that file doesn't exist there yet. That's okay. We're going to push to Azure Container Registry. No. To just a container registry. Why did I need the registry service connection here? Because I'm building. I'm not actually pushing to the registry. This one, though, I do need to have that. We're going to push the image. And the image name is... Now, see, it'd be nice if it picked up... Fritzbot, build ID, include the latest tag, go. I think that's it. I think that's all I need. I don't want to queue it yet because I haven't actually pushed the content into the master branch yet. Go back to the build step, make sure the command is build. Yeah, build an image. Yep, we're good. Okay, so let me go back to here. So, login, it will tag, and then it will push. Do I need to have C# Fritz repository name? I think I do. I think I do. I'm willing to bet that that's needed for that destination URL. Right? It's gotta be there. I'll need to add a login step, but I've already got. Right, I've got the registry here. Isn't the whole point of that to do the login? It doesn't log you in. Well, okay, then what's the point of having the container registry there? You know what I'm saying? That's frustrating. So we'll add a Docker step. No, we're not going to build and push. So here, container registry, container repository. Container repository. Name of the repository. I don't know. The command, we're not going to build and push. We're going to log in. Yeah, okay. That feels right. Okay, so we're going to build the image. That's the Docker file. Additional image tags. I feel like we should output the... Right, the image name, I feel like, well, whatever. It just sets up the headers and auth tokens. Oh, you love the help text, right? It's set the build context. What does that mean? Okay, so build the image, push the image. Okay, but I want to make sure that it goes to this location. Right, because I'm assuming repository name should be... Right, yeah, owner repository. So it should be... So I'm tagging image name version. You can refer to the local name of your Docker image instead of the image ID. Right. So it should be... Yeah, we need to tag the image with that pattern, /owner repository image name. So if I go back here, the image name shouldn't just be this. Ugh. It should be C# Fritz Tony Pixelbot, because that's the name of the repository. This one. Okay. Slash that. All right. So I'm going to copy that so that in the publish, I give it the same name. I think that's what we're looking for. Build context is a path to the file that actually contains the data that contains build context. Ah, okay. Well, that explains a little bit. Before I go too much further, I actually want to push to my master branch, which is going to attempt to trigger, right? So I did a save here. I want to go to my my releases here, and I want to pause this one so it doesn't try to deploy. Right? Because right now it's going to deploy automatically when I push to production, and I don't want it to do this one. In fact, I want to remove this. But we'll get back to that. So, back over to the build. Alright. Where'd my other pipeline go? Did I just lose that other pipeline I was building? I just lost that other pipeline. I clicked new and it's... Pipelines. Yeah. No. That's the only one that's... Oh, that's wonderful. Pardon me while I do that all over again because it didn't save it when I clicked save. Here we go. That's frustrating. And it... Alright, do this all over again. Okay, name. And this will be build container from master. Alright, agent pool, sure, that's fine. Okay, so the first thing that we needed was a Docker login. Hello, I'm trying... I guess you're not going to move like you did last time. You make me sad. Fine. Container registry. My container registry. And it's funny that that disappears immediately when I choose this. Add pipeline metadata. No. Save. Yes. Now you saw I clicked save. Hopefully it's still there when we're done. But yeah, I can't move this anymore. Yeah. So I've lost the ability to move. Okay. Let's see if it's actually still here before I go. Looks like you're trying to click save. Were you expecting to click save or give you a false sense of hope? Yeah. No. Oh. Okay. Alright. Whatever. So the other one is still here. Okay. Let me go back. Hang on. That was confusing. Yeah. Alright, let me get rid of this one, because yes. Build container from master. Let me delete that. This one, I want to rename. Build pixelbot Docker container from master. Okay. So it's doing the login. It should build the image and should push the image. Okay. Save, but don't queue it yet. It's refreshing to see Fritz give the Microsoft tools as much grief as anything else. So there's some user interface fails. There's some feedback that we're able to capture and give back to the teams that say, hey, it's a little bit friendlier if you would do this. Or, you know what, we misunderstood this for this reason. So trust me when I tell you that when you see me have a problem here, I send messages to folks that say, hey, we need a little bit of help. We need to make something here a little bit clearer, easier, improve some documentation. Some of these little help tips actually came from some of the feedback. No, he didn't hear about this, but come from some of the feedback that we've had here on this stream and in other places. So, have a good one, Automaton. Great to see you, and good luck the rest of your day. That recent is a bit misleading and confusing for a beginner. Yeah. Yeah. Right, if we look at the list of build pipelines, and it doesn't show you what you were working on. Uppermost, thank you for the follow, and I look forward to seeing you in the chat room. It'd be nice if it kind of showed, you know, okay, here's the recent ones, but the fact that there's only one here and I just saved one, give me some indication that it is here, it's just over here. So. Good afternoon, Tiagon. Wow. Tiago, welcome. Alright. So, let's see. I need to... This is going to be almost a rebase, pushing this up, because we've done so much heading into master for this. So I'm going to create a pull request to push what we have in dev to master. And I can't believe it's able to merge. Are you kidding? Oh my gosh, Pixelogic Dev with the raid. Woo! Hello, hello. It's so good to see you, my friend. Pixelogic Dev is another. All right, I believe they're on the Live Coders team. Thank you so much for the raid. Oh my goodness. Rip the bun. Oh my goodness. Yes, you can defend the channel. Absolutely. I need to come up with a defense video. There's some really good defense videos out there. I have to come up with one as well.
Greetings, my excellent friend.
Thank you, Raiders. It's so good to see you join us. What were you working on earlier today, Pixelogic Dev? Can we get a shout out for Pixelogic? I can't believe, yes, a conflictless merge? Unreal. With all those files changed? Yes, I'm that good. Okay, so yeah, I'll create the pull request and deploy MVP to master. And we'll call this the October 2019 MVP release, right? Preview release. Everything's a preview, isn't it? No, I don't want to put a label on it. Go, create that. Right, and you can also create this as draft, that's so that it's marked as it cannot be merged just yet. So, there we go. There's all the things that we were working on. So, all the way down through adding Docker support. Now, I could squash and merge, turn those 43 commits into one commit in the base branch, and then I would end up rebasing my dev branch off of that. Otherwise, we end up having this mess. So, you figured out what you did wrong, says Acrophobic Pixie. You made your answer overly complicated. Oh, this is This is the challenge with being a software developer, is over-architecting, over-complicating things. Yes, keep it simple. You're absolutely right. So keep things simple and your software development will get better. You normally squash when you want to delete the source branch. Yeah, and I don't want to delete the dev branch, but I also don't want to have all that nonsense around. I'm better resetting, not rebasing. What do you mean by resetting? You'll have 43 commits and also one commit that contains all the changes on top of them. I think you mean rebase. In a master and dev branch, that should all the PRs be visible? Yeah, I would squash without deleting. I think I just want the one merge. So, you're working on some React Native stuff. Nice. Nice. I think I just want to do a merge commit. And I'm going to start working in feature branches so that I squash and merge. So I have very feature-based things that are coming in there.
Scott, I'm new here.
Cheaper! Thank you so much. I'm glad that you're joining us with Twitch Prime. Thank you so much. You're going to get 17 emotes. You can throw emotes at the screen. I'm going to make a donation to St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, and it'll turn off all the ads for you here on channel. Thank you so much. Now it's just going into .NET and JIT. It's super fast. Yeah, Acrophobic Pixie. Look at that. Acrophobic Pixie wrote her first line of C# on Friday. Knows about .NET, knows about the just-in-time compiler. That is tremendous. I am so happy for you. Very cool. You're welcome, Jeeper. I'm just going to create a merge commit. Let's just get this done. Get this merged. Yes. Merge that, and we should see the build pipeline kick off. Deploy MVP to master. So that's the pull request. We should see the other one pick up as well. Right? So that's queued. So let's see what happens here. So I have 0, 1, 2, 3 in dev, then you become 0 in master, then you squash into master to get 0 to the collection. Then you rebase dev on master. Yeah. That's the master build, not the PR. It is the master build. Okay. So that is building. There we go. Right. Okay, so that's the typical one that's running for my continuous integration. Okay. The one for the Docker container. Set up triggers to run automatically. I thought we had it running. No. I tell you. Edit. Right? Triggers. Did we not? I didn't set this up, did I? Alright. Continuous integration. Yeah. So on master only. Only on master do I want to run this. There we go. Set up trigger off of master branch. Now, hopefully when this is done... Yeah. Good. Do it. When this is done, we'll then set up the release branch to push to a new Linux VM that we'll set up in app service. So that container we build will just be consumed and available over there. So... there it is. Well, that's the continuous integration. Right. Should be able to see... yeah. There we go. Build an image. Here we go. Make sure that this runs correctly. That's the master build. Do I want a CI build or a PR validation build? Well, that's the other build, is doing the PR validation. Cloud Gator had to leave yesterday. Are we at minimum viable? Yes. Yes. And we're going to get it deployed here as a Docker container in just a few minutes. But there are a couple things that we will clean up here and we'll deploy. Let's see here. Come on. Now it's actually into my Docker build. And the Docker build actually runs pretty quick once it has it. Or not. Son of a gun! What did you do? So it's running from the wrong location here. Look at this. So Docker build, and it passes in the file as the Docker file. Docker package.com. What's with the stars there? That's not right. It's in the wrong folder where it's working. It needs to be working up a folder at the solution level. You're learning about compilers. Nope. It's okay. So let's go back. Can we edit the pipeline? So where it's doing the Docker build here, and I really want to get this done so we can. I want to open up and let everybody just edit the project together here. Default build context sets the build context to the directory that contains the Docker file. No. Path to the build context. I want that to be on the root here. So do I do it like that? Or can I just leave it empty? Because I want it to be on the root. Right? I guess so. Because, right, it doesn't let me key anything in there. No, I don't want to link it. What if I just do that? Does that work? Changing build context. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, yeah. Do it. Run, yeah. Let's see what it does. So, hopefully we get something out of this. Come on. Build the image. Okay, so it's pulling... Crispy. Pulling all the information, verifying. I wish it would remember this so it didn't have to pull it each time. Right? It would run much faster if it wasn't pulling a fresh copy of the images each time. Valerian says, compilers are truly fascinating. I'd love to develop my own language sometime in the compiler for it. Our friend Immo Landworth from the .NET team, he's actually doing that live on both YouTube and Twitch. And every now and again, you'll see him pop up with a video. He is Terrajobst, Terr. Let's just drop the shout out. There you go. That's where you can find him on Twitch when he's streaming about it. It's the same ID on Twitter. So when he's doing that, you'll be able to find him and see how he's working on building his own programming language using the Roslyn compiler to build and compile his own compiler, which is in its own interesting and compelling. We're already a lot further than before. It is building properly here. Stelzy says, Immo is currently on hiatus for the last 6 months. Yeah, a little bit of hiatus. I'll see him in a few weeks and have a discussion. Let's see how we do here. So this is doing the exact same build that we would be doing normally with Visual Studio, but it's inside the container, so it's in that same run state. Right now he's hosting me. Hello, Immo people. How's it going over there? He doesn't have past broadcasts because it's been so long since he's been on. Yeah. We can drop him a line and give him an encouragement on that. Mike, welcome. Mike Thick, welcome. I appreciate the follow. Yeah, all of his past broadcasts are on YouTube. YouTube doesn't have the time delay removal of content. AshDev, thank you so much for the follow. And I look forward to seeing everybody in the chat room as we work along here. So, assuming this finishes building properly, the next step is to go back out to the Azure portal and get ready to deploy out to that Linux app service that we're going to stand up here. I'm pretty confident this is going to finish properly. So I'm going to go back to portalazure.com. I'm going to log in with my Azure account. That's not my password. I know this because I purposely don't have Firefox remember my correct password for this.
Bueller.
Oh, good. It finished loading. All right, so let's add a new resource here. We're going to create an app service resource. Where is it? Web app. There we go. I want one of these. Try this one more time. Yep, I'm going to go there. I started a resource here for Fritzbot, so I'll use that resource group. We will call this Fritzbot, so we'll get fritzbot.azurewebsites.net. We're going to publish a Docker container. Linux, yes. We're going to publish to the East US 2 location. That's fine. We'll use that Linux plan. Good. Next, give me all the Docker things. Options, single container. Yeah, for now it's a single container. And image, no, we're not publishing that. We're going to a private registry. Server URL. All right, so now we got to pull all that stuff from GitHub. Well, it's not. It's actually not private. It's a public registry, but it's not Azure Container Registry. Ugh. And it's not Docker Hub. It's not the Quick Start one either. So I think I do want the private registry. What are we building today? So we're deploying a Docker container with the bot in it to Azure. So, all right, so the server URL, there you go. Not that one. It was this one. No, that was the wrong one. That was the right one. So build an image, push an image. So the image should be here now. There it is. Look at that. Look at that. All right. So now anybody can download and run the PixelBot using a Docker container. Now, most folks don't have Docker running on their desktop. They just don't. So if folks wanted to run this locally as an executable or a command line application, we can do a little bit of refactoring to make that available, because we've been targeting the run in the cloud scenario. We can make a little bit of a change there to make that work. Tensei says maybe in Quick Start you can change the Nginx option to GitHub. If I go back over here, not that one. Here, Quick Start. No, wrong button. Quick Start instead of Learn More. No. Now these are sample images that it's pointing to. I think I do want to go to private registry. And the server URL is going to be dockerpackagegithub.com. Actually, I think I want to go all the way down to there. I think. Well, let's start with that. Fine, we'll put an HTTPS in front of that. Username. Do I really need a password? Because this is a public repository. Anybody can get to this. So do I really need that? You don't seem to have to input the username and password. Ah, okay. Image and tag. All right, so the image and tag is going to be that. Right? Startup command. No, I don't need a startup script. All right, continue. Hey, that worked. I'm not going to give it any tags. Review and create. Look at that. It automatically blotted out my... What do you mean? The specified app service plan was not found. It's right there. You specified it for me. Okay, that's weird. That's what I want. Not changing anything else. Create. All right, there we go. Can you can you control the the closed captioning on the screen? Yes. If you mouse over the bottom right of the video, there is a closed caption button you can click to turn it on and off. There's also a gear there that you can click, and there are closed caption options. You can change the color, all kinds of stuff there if you'd like. So, yeah. That's why I prefer the, one of the reasons that I prefer the embedded closed captioning like we have configured here and that we use at Channel 9, instead of an overlay, a plugin. That's available and you have a ton of control over it, and it's embedded with that. How did I manage to blur the subscription ID? That's using a plugin called AZ Mask. You see it right here. You can turn that on and off, and it will hide all the keys and things that are presented and available here in the Azure portal. So, yep, there it is, Azure Mask. That's the one. So now if I go over to the resource, this should have done an initial deploy. But I do want to make sure that I configure so that when that package is built, it also deploys out here as well. So I should be able to navigate directly to it here, and hopefully, no. Yes, I'd like to see the diagnostic resources. Don't mind. Okay. What would you say you did there? No. And service unavailable. Well, that's brilliant! What the heck is it doing? Yes, I'd like to shush into my application. And I can't get there either. Okay. Things were going so well. And I'm an hour and a half in, and that's not working either. Okay. Thank you for the follow. Oh my goodness. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Pull the Docker container locally. Yeah, that's going to be next step here, is to see if I can actually see and work with the container locally. It doesn't look like it actually has it out there deployed and running yet. You know? Just looking at... It hasn't... I don't think it's actually running. You know what I mean? Advanced tools. Come on, get me through to the... Nope. Nope. Alright, so let's grab that container, bring it locally. Over here. And I should be able to Docker pull that. So I've got to do the Docker login, huh? Docker package github.com. I wonder if it... Docker login, docker.package github.com. Do I need that? I do need a username and password, and I didn't give it a username and password. I bet it didn't pick those up. Let me see if I still have that password on my... Nope, don't. Let me see here. So I need to go back and go get another token so I can log in. Excuse me for a minute while I go set that up. Kind of annoying having to copy these personal access tokens all the time. Docker local access. Sure. Uh-huh. Yep. Okay. So now I okay. What the heck? My Stream Deck stopped working. It won't change scenes. Let's restart that. That was weird. Yep, there goes the music because the Stream Deck's restarting. Like, all of a sudden, none of the buttons were working. So it seems to need to log in Azure as well. Yep. Yep, everything is breaking. Everything is cool when you're part of the team. Yeah, everything's breaking. Wonderful. So it'll be there in DevOps, but I've copied a new one. So where was it? The deployment credentials. No, not that. Container settings. There we go. Thank you for the follow, War Control. Yeah, my Stream Decks are dead, and it won't restart. Something? Anything? No. Weird. Well, there you go. Look, image pull failed. It didn't download and deploy anything. So there's our problem. There's the music playing again. All right, it's live. So let me key back in. C# Fritz. Paste the password. Continuous deployment. Well, if I turn that on, I don't really need a release pipeline, do I? Right? So, verify Docker image configuration and credentials. Not now. Settings updated successfully. Great. Did it go somewhere? Did it pull the thing? How do I tell it to pull a new instance of this? You know? At least we still have you. Thank you. Was the package made private? To access the docs, suggest you can make them public or private. Thank you for the follow, Sidis. Appreciate you joining us. Let's go back over here. Okay, go back to... Well, it's not going to be in here with packages. Oh, there it is, package. No, everything's public here. Right? I don't see anything to indicate that this is a private repository, that this is a private package. So let me make sure that that Docker pull should work. Yeah, there we go. So we got it. Make a request to the site and it should pull. Well, that's, while handy, it's going somewhere. Which is better than before where it just said service unavailable.
Oh my.
Nice. That's pretty cool that it's going and detecting why is the web app down. But, right, like, yeah. Like, can you show me my logs? And do I know that it actually deployed the package? Invalid reference format. Pulling Docker image, Docker API responded with bad request. Bad, invalid reference format. Really? Let's go back over to GitHub. So I'm trying to pull... What happens if I put the whole thing... Right, if I do that, you know? Okay. 1536. That's like 3 minutes from now. Azure works in the future. How's that work? Isn't the image tag just Fritzbot latest and everything before it is the base URL? Okay, where do I put the base URL? I can agree with you on that. Where it places the full thing in the URL and not the image and optional tag. Okay. So you're suggesting doing this, put it up there. No, I don't want that. I want this. Here, I hit Control S and it tried to save the HTML. So now if I refresh, well, that didn't do anything. So, pulling image from Docker Hub. See, look, it's going to Docker Hub. It's not on Docker Hub. It's on this location. It's going to the wrong place. Yeah, it's going to the wrong place. Hey, Buoyant Air. Hello, hello. Yeah, so I changed the server URL so that it includes everything. But... Docker image configuration and credentials. Right, because it's trying to go to Docker Hub. It's not going to where I specified. Right? So if I save that, so it's just that URL. I'm trying to get it to pass the credentials here. Right? Because this smells like it's going to the wrong location. Pull access denied for Fritzbot. Repository does not exist or may require Docker login. Yes, it does require Docker login. How do I do that? Which... Is there something here I need to... Download the sample, build the image... Yeah. I don't want to use Azure Cloud Shell. Create an Azure Container Registry, sign in. I'm not using Azure Container Registry. Create app service plan. This is all PowerShell. I don't, no. Okay. That doesn't tell me what's going on this screen at all, because I'm not using PowerShell. Okay, so if I change the URL here, so it's that, save, put the full Docker package github.com. That's what I thought. Okay, settings saved. Try to refresh that so that it tries to do the pull. Refresh over here so we can get... No. It's going to Docker Hub. Wait a sec. It didn't even do anything here yet. No. Yeah, it's going to Docker IO. Even though we specified a private registry and we've given it a server URL, it is not going to that location. Can I post the logs here? Why? You can see them right here. Yeah, I smell a hard-coded URL somewhere as well. So I tried the refresh over there and you saw it was working. Well, it finally got it. All right. I did smell a hard-coded URL there somewhere. Absolutely. But the fact that it didn't have the server name up front, I think, was the key to this. Yeah. All right. Thank you, friends. Appreciate the feedback, talking us through that. We got that done. Next. So it's out here. It doesn't have all the environment variables configured, so if I try to log in, it's actually not going to work. It doesn't know where to go to get to auth 0. I will copy in those environment variables later, and we'll be able to have this running. So I don't want to share the environment variables that have all the configuration things in it, such as passwords and keys to get to auth 0. But it's deployed, it's available, it's out here. And we'll be able to run that later. Thank you, Shane. I appreciate your help talking through here. Yeah, there were a couple things there that just felt a little off, you know? And now that, right, as the GitHub repositories become available, it'd be great if the GitHub repository was an option here. Or if when you select private registry, it gave you not just the Azure Container Registry as an option, but also, oh, are you using the GitHub registry as well? And because we know how to log in and do GitHub things, it'd be neat to be able to have that connection, because it's all the same thing. But the GitHub package registry, that was something that our friend Lannon BR pointed out in the Live Coders Discord, was saying, hey, how about we start pushing some packages over here so that we have folks available to use that stuff. Okay, so it's deployed, it's available, and I will drop in those configuration passwords and things, and it'll be running later. I'm not going to do that right now. I want to get into, and I want to talk through. So I actually don't need a release pipeline, because when it pushes a new version of the package, it'll automatically do that pull and trigger the deployment on the server. So I'm actually in really good shape there between my two pipelines, right? So that when something goes into master, it'll build the package, push it out to my registry on GitHub, which will automatically deploy. That's really cool. I could set up things like a staging slot, so we could test it out there first before it goes live, but I like the way that runs because I don't need to think about that release pipeline. I could do a release pipeline to do checks to say, run these tests and things, but this one down here, this continuous integration pipeline, this is the one that's doing the tests to make sure things work before I push them to master. So I'm pretty happy about that. But I want to get back into our Linux development that we've been doing here. And I want to talk through some of the features that we want to put on that homepage so that it looks a little bit friendlier. Right now, it's really just the default Blazor contents. And I want to ask for your help, chat room. Boom Boom likes the idea of a staging slot for the purpose of seamless deployments. Yeah, that's a good idea. So, how you doing, Acrophobic Pixie? I see the O's there. Things going well? Did you figure out the code easy problem that you were running into? So, okay, when you key in, for some reason, I key in my username for the password for the first time I come in here all the time. I'm not going to download VS Code Update yet. And I started building a Docker file here, and it's wrong. I started working on that and it was like, no, that's not going to work. All right, let me go here and let's get a fresh copy of my project. So .NET pull, not .NET. I'm confusing command lines. There we go. All right. Yes, there are unresolved dependencies. Thank you. Thank you for the follow, Yuri Yars. I appreciate that. You didn't get killed by lasers. You're working through 4 loops, but now you're going to go get a refresh on the coffee. Cool. Yep, we've got... So the bot is deployed, and we can start talking about building and adding new features into this. My G Fuel arrived. Yay! All right. So here's what I want to do. There you go, chat room. This is your chance to help out. And we'll do this for a little bit here, just as a test, because I have everything committed to source code, so nobody can mess it up. And I'll be able to see everything before it gets committed. I'm going to open live share and let everybody in that wants to join. So we currently have, just so that you know, on the README over here, I'm going to turn off the app settings. We have these couple things that we need to kind of tie down here and figure out what we want to output for the page, for the site, more than just where it says Pixelbot up at the top. And we want to start doing that rename process. War Control asks, do I take G Fuel? Yes. Yep. So this is Snowcone that I'm using. I actually have a G Fuel command in chat as well. I am not sponsored. I'm not affiliated. I am not advertising for them. I'm just a fan. But I am comprised of 70% G Fuel, says John Galloway.
Greetings, my excellent friend.
So good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us. Yes, I am comprised of 70% G Fuel. So, and I'm running out. What am I gonna do? We shared some G Fuel with some of the other hosts at .NET Conf, and it was a good thing. So here's what I want to do. I want to open up live share, let everybody access. I'm going to turn that off so nobody can see some of those contact names there. And I'm going to start a collaboration session and make this URL available so that if you want to help, if you want to jump in and collaborate, I'm going to give you full access to the application here so that you can tune in. Oh yeah, the midnight to 6 a.m. shift. John Galloway had a little bit, and we had a good time there with the overnight shift on .NET Conf. Really great stuff. I don't think terminal access is included. I'm not going to share the terminal, but it will share the server when I run it. So there you go. If you would like to join us, this is Visual Studio Live Share, this icon right here. If you're running Visual Studio Code on Linux or Mac, it's this icon right here. You can add it. It's an extension that's available to you. Look for Live Share. And you can add this into your project so that you can share and collaborate on code the same way that you see folks collaborate with Google Docs or Word Online, Microsoft Word Online. You'll get that same little tape flag running around in the code. So you can sign into LiveShare. You can sign into that link that I just shared with everybody. This is also available in Visual Studio 2019. It's under the File menu there. You say choose File, and there'll be a Join option there. Or you can just click the link, and it'll open in whichever Visual Studio tool is available to you. This is not coupled to .NET. This is not coupled to a paid version of some Visual Studio thing. This is a free service for you to be able to use and interact with other collaborators on your team. So, we need to put some content on the homepage. We need to remove the about link and route it somewhere. I wish there was a way to turn off the notification when folks join down there. I've tried to set that several times. But, right, manage extension, and it just does not go away. Right, there's a settings thing up here somewhere. The collaboration link, focus participants, right? It's help. Is there configure settings? Live share account provider. Allow guest debug. No, you're not allowed to start debug sessions. You're not allowed to run and terminate workspace tasks. We will auto share servers. Terminals are shared read-only. You get to see code lens. You're allowed comments. Exclude debug types. I want to turn off the announcement. Controls whether a host needs to explicitly approve guests. No. I don't want to require that. Increased guest limit, yes. Join debug session option, yes. Keep a live interval, allow guest command control. Name tag visibility, just on activity, open shared servers, yeah. Populate Git co-authors, please. Shared terminal height with show in status bar. Yeah, show them, but I don't want to see names pop up here, like John Galloway! Yeah, turn that off, right there. Don't need to see that. Okay. So now you can see some of the folks that have joined in. Fantastic. And where they are. Folks are hanging out in the README. So these are the couple of tasks that we need to figure out before we can say it's completely done, ready to go, and we can use this. We can do a thing with this. So some content on the homepage to explain what this is and give folks the ability to log in. I think we also have a little, I'm going to turn these into issues after our live coding time here. I think we also need a little bit of information around, right, we have the join channel, we have the stop monitoring a channel. We need a way to actually start the bot following things. The only way you can do that is to actually go to that configure page and say join this channel. So, right, this, how do I activate it for my channel? So I think we need to improve the configuration screen, which is going to be things like activate the bot, activate individual features. Yeah. Need some design help. I'm not saying anything, but I'm just saying. Okay?
Throw me a frickin' bone here.
Right? Throw me a frickin' bone. Oh, you're gonna try connecting over Acrophobic Pixie? Cool. Right, so these are folks that are connecting in using Visual Studio on any operating system to a virtual machine hosted on my machine running Linux with a free text editor. So cool. Shane's here. Hello, Shane. And you can kind of see where some of these folks are. There's where John is. So there's an about link, and let me show you just a little bit back in the project here. Right, everything runs out of primarily the orchestrator project here. So we have components and pages. Underneath components is where all of our Blazor activity occurs. So the index here, right now, outputs welcome to the Pixelbot, and if you're logged in, it outputs, well, here's all of your information. Here's all the things about you here. And I don't think we want to output all those things if you're just logging in, right, and you're on the production location. Angry Little Hamster asks, where can a person get some of the awesome logos as stickers? You have some screen real estate, spare real estate on the laptop. It needs to show that it is owned. So I do have a bunch of stickers after our emotes. You know what, John? I need to order some stickers for Ignite to give out. I typically give out stickers as part of a 100 follower giveaway, right? And we're about 33 from the next one. I tell you what, Angry Little Hamster, my P.O. Box address is just underneath the video here. If you send me a self-addressed stamped envelope to that address, the P.O. Box address, I'll send you out a collection of stickers. All right? So, and I see some folks are over here making some modifications. Somebody's making a modification to the Docker file over here. Look at this. Going through and changing some things up. Oh! Look at that. Changing that to Alpine. So, is that Agrophobic Pixie that just connected? Did I see that? Welcome. So, now, right, isn't there a chat that comes with this? Where's the live share chat so you can see the comments from folks? Oh my gosh, there's too many of these things open. Hang on. Right, comments. So you change this to Alpine. Now, Alpine is a smaller image that should behave a little bit better, should run a little bit smaller and faster. Thank you for the follow, Net Jogging. It doesn't matter so much that the image is Alpine, but it matters that he made it a fixed image version. Oh. Okay, there you go. So so Heather has joined us here. Hey, great to see you. So, right, this is a lot more complicated project than some of the things that you've seen so far over on Fierce Kitten's project, right? So, you can find some of the C# files that we've written scattered throughout here. And this is using a user interface technology called Blazor that uses these templates called Razor. I'm waiting for the laser to appear in our technologies here. But you can use these to build and interact with your project, right? Present HTML. So this index page here, I'm going to actually, can I inject, friends, I'm going to inject inside this page the hosting environment information, this iWeb host environment. And I'll tell you why here in just a second. No, it wasn't over there. It was the index. Right, let me go index.razor, that one. So these injects are saying, make this thing available. That wasn't what I copied. iWeb host. Nope, not there. Where'd the startup go? iWeb host environment. That. Right? I'm going to inject that thing. I'm going to call it env here. Hey, Hugo. I see Hugo down there. So I'm only going to output the claim information if the environment not just is authenticated, is development. Right? Only if we're in development mode should we output the claim information. And the claim information is who you are and information about you. So we're going to kind of hide this so that it only appears when we're showing showing information that's appropriate to developers in debug mode. Alpine is 100 meg smaller. Ooh. Buster's a Debian base image, just as an FYI. Did not know that. Debian gets all its names from Toy Story. Wow. Wow. I didn't know Debian gets all of its image names from Toy Story. That's pretty neat. Learned something new today. I think I'm missing a using statement, though, to be able to call is development, right? Because it's here. It's an Microsoft Extensions hosting environment name. I think I need the Microsoft Extensions hosting using statement. This one. I think I'm going to need that in order to get it to use it appropriately. You know? So put an @ in front of there. Okay. We don't need the code section down here at the bottom. That's because it's not actually running any code. So I think That's all we need there for the Razor page. Dockerfile question. Why line 14 copy? Let's go back over to Dockerfile. So you're talking right here, John. So after .NET Restore happens, right? And these are the steps that happen when you build a .NET application before the copy. After the copy, right? We need to restore all of our packages, restore all of our references. We're copying in the rest of the files at this point. This way, these steps hopefully get cached ahead of us, including the restore of packages. So if none of our packages, if none of our references changed, if we're still referencing ASP.NET Core version 3, it should skip right through these and say, oh, this is already cached. I don't need to rerun this. Then copy in all the rest of the files and actually build the application here. It seems like source and destination. So it looks like that, this copy ... It does look like it, right? And if you were running that on the command line, it does look and feel like that. What it's doing is it's saying copy, and the copy command, the first location you give it is on the host machine. Copy ... Copy everything that's in the current folder and below. The second dot says in, there you go, the further, not workdir, the copy command. Right, there we go. Then it's where in the images file system. I love, that is a tremendous pop-up, a bit of help text there. That is really good. So the source on the source machine, on the host machine that you're running against, into the destination images file system. Yep, it's from and then to. So, really neat stuff. Okay. We are running out of time quickly here. Let me see. Were there any other files that folks changed here? I'm going to do a control tilde. Now, you should be able to see my terminal now. And if I do a git status, I'll see what's changed in here. So, Dockerfile, startup, app settings, and readme. And I can run a git diff and see what some of you changed out there. So index, there's what I changed. I put the hosting bit in there. If it's development, do this. And I removed the code bit at the bottom. In the Docker file, we changed from Buster Slim to Alpine. Cool. Somebody changed the Twitch Helix API to pull out of Twitch API endpoint URL. Really? So you put that into app settings? Twitch API. Okay. So when that version changes, here's my concern with that. Improve the configuration screen. I wrote that. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to use the source control buttons over here so I get all the co-authored statements. So, tidying up some features, some code with folks live on stream. Okay. Commit that. There are no, wait, cancel. Hang on. I gotta add everything. Okay. Now commit it. There we go. So I will git push, and everybody that was in live share is going to get a little bit of credit for contributing there. There we go. So that was pushed out to my dev branch. Okay. And yep, 18 seconds ago. So that should now be building out here. I'm going to get rid of the release pipelines here. Let's see this build. Let's see this build and wrap up, and we'll call it a day. Yeah, let's Dockerize all thing. There it goes. So we didn't deploy it to master yet, but there it goes. We can see it building. Everybody that helped out in there. You can see that kicking off. And if I look at that commit, right, what I want you to see, look at that, 10 authors. 10 authors helped out with this. Look at them. There they all are. Everybody that was connected in and was helping out there in live share. Really great stuff. And that'll actually put your names up on the top of, on the crawl going across the top because you contributed a little bit here while we were writing some code. You also updated the git ignore to unignore some VS Code helper files like launch settings. Oh, cool. Okay. Thank you, Hugo. TBD Gamer really needs to study up on Docker. And it's a great thing that our friend Robert Tables, who's phenomenal with containers, and we're going to try and have him on with us Friday. He does a great job with containers, and I want to start talking to him about standing this up with some database containers so that we can start putting our configuration over there and have it work with configuration inside of another container that we'll have running out here on Azure. Yeah, thank you for the shout out to our friend Robert Tables. So, Acrophobic Pixie, all you did was scroll through stuff. Yeah, but you helped verify that everything looks good out there. Right? Right?
Oh my.
Code contributions, that's what it's all about here. Still building. Come on. Finish that up. Build failed! Oh no! We're gonna have to fix that. iWeb host environment could not be found. We're missing a using statement is what's going on there.
Oh my.
I know. I should have built before I committed and pushed. Let's see what's going on there. It's a using statement it's missing. So, look at that. And we're out of Mario music. We're out of Mario music! What are we gonna do? That was over in Index Razor. This one. Right, iWeb host environment. It doesn't know what that is. So, let me go back to startup. Right? Startup. There's no music here. It's so quiet. Right, the iWeb host environment that's referenced down here. I need to make sure I have the same reference. Microsoft ASP.NET Core hosting. Fine. So let me go back. So I need at using Microsoft ASP.NET Core hosting. That should do it. Let me go down into that orchestrator and .NET build. And we should get through this with no errors. Totally not your fault. No, not at all. I'm not blaming any of you because I added that feature. That one's on me. I'm the one who broke the build. You know what I mean? 93 warnings. We're going to have to fix that at some point. Looks good, though. So let me commit those changes. Fixed the broken build. And git push. So that'll rebuild. And we'll push out a new version. Jeff buys pizza. That's the rule. I buy stickers and all kinds of things here. Thanks so much, everybody, for watching. This was a lot of fun today. I think we'll do a little bit more of this live coding together. Open up live share and let you jump in and tune and help out. Thank you for the follow, Abstract. I appreciate you joining us. Let me check out and see who's out there that's streaming that we can raid right now. Checking my followers list here. Who I follow. No. Nope. You know what? We could... Here's somebody we haven't raided in a while. And he's doing a Minecraft Twitch extension. You know who we need to raid? He's due. He's due for a raid. Let's set up and raid our friend InstaFluff. If you're a subscriber... Grab the top line out of that from the bot. If you're not a subscriber, that's okay. Grab the second line. Copy that onto your clipboard. Get ready. We're going to go see our friend InstaFluff. There he is. Kick off that raid. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. This was a lot of fun today. I enjoyed opening up Visual Studio Code here and letting you contribute code. I think we can do more of that. I think we have an opportunity to do a lot more of that in the future. And let you make changes to code as we're going along here. Acrophobic Pixie's contemplating doing a live share of her Code Easy lessons so I can help easier. Absolutely. You saw how easy it was to do. Check it out and try it with any of your friends. But for now, get ready to say hi to our friend InstaFluff, and I'll see you tomorrow. Make sure you check out the Cloud Native Show with our friend Shane Boyer in just a few minutes.